Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding the hearing as well as keeping it going. For 151 years, the National Rifle Association of America, commonly known as the NRA, has operated as a tax-exempt social welfare organization. In order to receive the privileges of being a tax-exempt organization, namely not paying tax on its revenues, the NRA must follow the same laws that apply to all tax-exempt social welfare organizations. One, the organization must be focused on its stated mission or primary purpose. Two, the organization's resources must be used to benefit society, not for self-enrichment or private benefit. And three, the organization must, under penalty of perjury, file annual reports with the IRS showing that they are not violating Principles 1 and 2. Since at least 2008, the NRA has repeatedly and frequently violated each of these three principles, a trifecta of bad behavior. Their stated primary purpose is to, quote, protect the Second Amendment, promote public safety, provide marksmanship and gun safety training, promote competitive shooting, and improve hunter safety. But in recent years, the organization has spent less than 10% of its budget on this mission. Instead, while mass shootings have ravaged communities across the country, killing 2,500 children and teens each year, the organization became a fear-mongering political media company promoting a lifestyle of loving assault rifles equipped with high-capacity magazines and calling anyone who questioned it socialist or just simply trying to, quote, take them away. The pinnacle of the NRA's diversion from its stated purpose was its launch of NRA TV in 2016, which had little to do with upholding the Second Amendment. Instead, it pandered in culture war tropes, including calling then-President Obama language that I would not use here, blaming the Manchester Arena bombing on multiculturalism, socialism, and gender bending, and perpetuating former President Trump's deep state conspiracies. The NRA itself, in a suit against its PR company that ran NRA TV, later called this content, quote, a dystopian cultural rant that veered into distasteful and racist territory at a tune of $20 million a year. So my question with that preface, Professor Hackney, with the NRA spending only 10% of its budget on its primary purpose, and instead spending on items like NRA TV warrant close scrutiny, maybe even an investigation by the IRS?
So I've written significantly about the NRA, particularly as the judge was considering dissolving them. I think the NRA is a great example of an organization that shows why we need good regulation in this area. The secrecy promotes corruption. The ability of their folks to operate outside of the light has encouraged significant problematic actions, and the folks who care about the NRA's mission should care about that, so having a good IRS there to do that. I do believe there should be a closer look at the NRA, and I've stated so in news articles before by the IRS.
Well, thank you. Now, let me say the relationship between the NRA and its public relations firm, Ackerman McQueen, who ran NRA TV, is also problematic. The New Yorker, in its expose on the financial dealings of the NRA, describes the relationship between the NRA and its PR firm as, quote, so intertwined that it is difficult to tell where one ends and the other begins. The article details overall payments to the public relations firm of $40 million each year, including payments of millions of dollars to figureheads on NRA TV. It also claims that Oliver North, the NRA's president, was paid through Ackerman McQueen. Lastly, it says that, quote, many NRA employees have long suspected Ackerman of inflating the cost of services that it provides. Professor Hackney, if these allegations are true, and the NRA has been paying inflated costs to its PR firm, would this warrant an investigation or even close examination by the IRS? What about the claims that the president of the NRA was paid through an outside contractor?
So I'll focus in on the fact that through that arrangement, there has been a lot of taking of things from the NRA. It's trying to carry out its actual mission, but much money has moved outside of it to people who control the organization and have found that it is not appropriate. I believe there should be a closer look at that as a result of those. That is to protect the folks who care about this mission from self-dealing and other acts by those who control the organization.
And finally, if I may, over the past 5 years, the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, has alleged that the NRA diverted millions of dollars from the NRA to pay for its executives' flights on private planes, travel to Africa, Lake Como, the Bahamas, Budapest, designer suits purchased on Rodeo Drive, gifts to friends, memberships at golf clubs, and golden parachute arrangements which included million-dollar mansions and seven-figure salaries. So, Professor, would the NRA spending on these items violate the organization's requirement to protect against private inurement? And if true, does this warrant an investigation or even a closer examination by the IRS?
The Attorney General has put forth substantial allegations that should be taken very seriously. There's been copious reporting in this regard. I think any organization, Democrat, Republican, whatever interest, that engaged in such transactions should have a closer look by the IRS.
I appreciate your insights, and I yield to my distinguished colleague from Massachusetts.